What's good, y'all? It's Solution back at it with another mental gym video in which I give you guys frameworks you can use to become extremely successful and achieve all the goals you are after. So let's get right into it. Today's main framework that I'm going to be talking about, which I think is actually the most important framework I will ever talk about, and that is purpose. You see, at least for me, purpose is the only framework that actually controls everything that you do in your life. And the definition that I came up with for purpose in the context of achieving goals is it's the reason you are alive and able to achieve your goals. So, whether we know it or not, and I'm guessing many of you who clicked on this purpose video don't know, there's a reason why we are alive. Or there's a reason or a strong inclination that we have towards something that keeps us alive. But unfortunately, many of us don't know what that reason is, or haven't known, if you're somebody who does know now, or haven't known what that reason is. And I believe if you want to set the best goals possible in your life, you should know the reason why you are alive. Because when you have a purpose, then goal setting is easy. Because all you have to do when you set a goal is, does this help me fulfill my purpose? And if it does, then it's a good goal. But if it doesn't fulfill your purpose, then you wouldn't set the goal. And if you want to make your life almost perfectly aligned, you want to know what your purpose is. You want to know what your reason for being alive is. But the thing is, most of us don't know, including myself. I didn't know, but I do know now. And I will talk about that in this video, of course. But the main point is, I want to give you guys the framework you can use, and I have personally used to help me discover what my purpose is and ultimately set better goals for my life that I value having, right? So let's get right into it. Cool. So basically, I'll call it the purpose equation. So the purpose equation. So the purpose equation. The purpose equation. So when it comes to the purpose equation, how do you discover your purpose? Because right now you're sitting here watching this like, okay, cool, there's a reason why I'm here, but I don't know the fucking reason. So let's find that shit out. So the first thing you need to do when it comes to discovering your purpose is identify. Identify. And what I mean by identify is you need to figure out all the things in your life right now that you don't like. And I know that sounds weird, but what I'm saying is you have things in your life right now that you don't like. And I'm not talking about problems, because technically everything is a problem to be solved, and then we just label them good or bad. But what I'm saying is we're going to basically abuse your emotions right now. Why don't you like certain things? There's things in your life that you don't like. For example, you might not like right now that you're skinny. You might not like that you're fat. You might not like that you're broke, or whatever the reason is. Or you might not like that you don't have any friends, or you might not like that you're not an extrovert or an introvert, or you can't be alone, or you want to fall in love, or whatever. There's things in your life right now that you don't like, right? And what I want you to basically do is identify what these things are. What are the things in your life that you don't like? And how you're going to track this is any way that you want to. Basically, you can use your phone notes app. You can use Notion. You can use Notion, which is basically this note-taking platform that I personally use that I think is very useful. So I'll link that in the description. You can write it down. But basically, I just want you to have a place that you can refer to notes that you take continuously, right? And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to identify all the things you don't like first, and as many things as you want to add, or as many things as you can add, because there's a lot of things we don't like, right? And the reason why I think this is particularly very important is because from all these videos that I've seen on purpose, and from my own personal research, and from seeing other people's experiences, what I've realized is a lot of people just say, oh, you just need to find your passion. You see, the thing about human psychology that I've learned is that it is a lot easier for human beings to identify pain than it is pleasure. For example, you're someone who probably likes food and to eat because it keeps you alive, right? But if I gave you 100 different restaurants that you like to choose from, it would be difficult for you to choose. But if I told you tell me all the restaurants that you hate and would never go to, you would just start listing. right? Because it's easier for us as human beings. Like, we've evolved to be able to identify potential threats to us. Like, that is our way of doing things, right? But the good thing is about this is we can use this to our advantage. Why? Because if we identify everything that is a potential threat, what is going to be left? Everything that isn't a threat to us, that we like having around us, right? So we can basically use our human psychology to figure out what our purpose is. And that's what I'll talk about in the next step of this, right? So anyway, first I want you to identify all the things you don't like. I'm telling you, like, you can use your you can use your emotions here. Like, anything in your life right now you don't like. You don't like. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks, what your circumstances are. What are the things that you don't like? Because your reality is controlled by your personal perception. Everything that you don't like is controlled by you and you alone. Not what people are telling you you shouldn't like, or what. No. Everything that you like is controlled by you, and don't like is controlled by you. The most important thing about this purpose thing is it's something that you can actually only do alone. Of course, I can give you the framework for using it, but the personal responsibility is on you, because I can't go inside of your body, pause, and figure out what you like and don't like. You have to figure it out. And the only way you can do that is by identifying. So identify what you don't like. I even put an arrow here. What you don't like in your life. In your life, let me say that too. You want to figure out what you don't like in your life right now. Like, you just start listing. Whatever you need to do, you start listing. Cool. So once you've now identified many things that you don't like, you can start the next process of this, which is right over here. Question. So what do I mean by question? By question, I mean, to me, what I think is the most important question that humanity has ever asked, or any human on the planet can ask, is why? 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 Crazy enough, why is what has created everything around us. Because people asked why. And all the information we have is based on people doing what? Asking why, right? So boom. So why? So you identify what you don't like in life, and then you go to question, and then that leads to why? Why don't you like these things? Why? Because what I've said is, for the definition of purpose, is the reason you are alive and are able to achieve your goals. Well, the reason is unconscious for many of us. That's why we don't know what it is. It's unconscious. And we need to bring it to our conscious mind by abusing our emotions. And by abusing our emotions, I don't mean obviously in a bad way, but by using our emotions to figure out what we don't like, because we look at something like, ugh, I don't like this, right? Or we look at something like, ooh, I like this, and like, ugh, I don't like that, right? And we basically, then when we react that way, we start asking ourselves why. Why don't you like it? Why does it make you feel uneasy? Why does you, for example, being skinny make you feel bad? Why does it hurt? Why? There's a reason it hurts. Human beings, crazy enough, we might seem complex, but we're very simple. I'm saying in our reasoning. Like, there's one reason why. Why? Why does you being skinny make you feel bad? Because it makes you feel weak? That could be a reason, right? Or because it means that you're not going to be able to protect your family? That could be a reason. Or because, whatever the reason is, you won't be able to get girls, because maybe girls like buff guys, if you believe that, right? See, we have all of these reasons why. Why? So what you want to do for the problems that you identify is ask yourself what you don't like in your life. So what are the things that you don't like in your life that you've identified, and then why? And what you're going to do is you're going to do it with all of the problems that you have identified. You're going to do this process with all the problems that you have identified. Why don't you like it? Why? And then a beautiful thing will happen. And that's pretty much what ends the equation that you're going to use to figure out what your purpose is. Equals trends. So the thing is, let me even underline that because the reason is the really important part. But you're gonna get to trends. And what do I mean by trends? Funny enough, as I just mentioned a second ago, humans are simple beings. We're very simple. We actually have like basically one reason as to why, or one overlying reason as to why we do certain things. And when you go through the process of identifying all these things in your life that you don't like and asking yourself why, whatever reason you come up with, you're going to start seeing trends in these problems. For example, for me, not even really an example, but truth. For me, my purpose is growth, to grow freely. That is my purpose, meaning I want to be able to grow myself. And that could be in the form of my mindset, because I teach a lot on this channel about mindset. And the beautiful thing is, by teaching this information, I actually get smarter. So that is my selfish reason as to why I do it, I guess. Right? But it is nice to be selfish and benefit other people, of course. That's the mistake people get for wanting to be selfish. But that's a whole other thing that I'll talk about later. But the point is, my purpose is to grow and to grow freely, right? So when I went through this process myself and identifying the things in my life that I didn't like, and then asking myself why, I kept getting to one overlying reason. It was that it's not going to help me grow the way I want to. The way I want to. That is the freely part of it. When I say grow freely, I'm not going to be able to grow in the way that I want to grow. And because of that, that makes me not feel good. Because I like to grow. That's what I realized. Like, from figuring out all the things I did not like and questioning why, I got to the trend of I want to be free to grow as I like. So basically, I went through my own life and started removing all of the things that are not allowing me to grow freely. And because I removed all of the things that are not allowing me to grow freely, I am now fulfilled. I feel amazing right now in my life. I feel incredible. Incredible. Because everything I do is for the sole reason of growing freely. Because I identified what I didn't like, I questioned why, I followed the trends that I got from the answer of why, and realized I want to grow freely, and everything in my life that I felt like was not going to allow me to grow freely, I removed. And because of that, I feel fulfilled. And that is literally the purpose process. It's literally just a process of figuring out, using your human psychology, things you don't like, questioning why you don't like them. And this, obviously, the why is so important. And it's a long process. Because that's actually pretty much what I'll add after I just finish going over the equation one more time. But this why process is extremely important, extremely important. Because it's a question only you can answer. Nobody can figure out why you like something or don't. And what I mean is they can't do it easily without you giving them information. Because all they can do, if you say, well, I don't like it because of this, they can just give you context. They can be like, is it maybe because of this or maybe because of that? But they can't find the answer for you. So this is your job. In the same way that I said earlier, finding your purpose is your job. It's your job. Nobody can do this for you. Because it's the most important question in your life that you can answer. Especially in the terms of being able to achieve your goals. It's the most important question, right? So this why part, you have to go hard on it. You have to really ask yourself why and come up with a reason. And when those reasons start to flow with all these problems that you've identified, you will see the trends. For me, the trends I was seeing was that I didn't like all the things that were not allowing me to grow freely. That was the reason. I want to grow freely. Meaning in whatever vehicle that looks like for me, I want to be able to grow the way I like and enjoy growing, right? And for you, that might not be it. You might identify all these problems in your life, ask yourself why, and the trend you might be realizing is, well, I don't like these things because they don't allow me to protect my family or provide for my family that I want to have. Because a lot of you guys are either in your late teens or early 20s, and maybe that's something you could be thinking about. And that's the main reason why you want to get a career or get a job or whatever, because you want to protect your family, right? So your purpose is to protect your loved ones, the people you love, right? So if you're able to identify these problems, question why, figure out that trend, what can you do? You can then, damn, I just kicked my board, sorry about that. But you can then remove all the things in your life that don't allow you to protect your family. And then the amazing part of this, you can set goals better. Because if you set your goals around your purpose, you'll be fulfilled. Because you're setting good goals. This is good decision making. Now you won't set goals that have nothing to do with protecting your family. Because where most people fuck up, and I'll get into that now too, where most people fuck up is that they just never identify. They never identify, they never question, so they never know what their purpose is. And because of that, they set poor goals. They set arbitrary and loose goals that don't really matter in the grand scheme of anything because they never asked what their purpose was. And where they find out really, really late in their life. And they're like, damn, if I had known what my purpose was sooner, I would have set incredible goals. And that's why I think finding your purpose is really the most important thing you can do. I personally believe it's more important than anything you are doing right now, discovering what this is. Because if you figure out what your purpose is, your life becomes way simpler. Because you know exactly what should be there and not be there. As I said with mine, when it comes to growth, I was able to now, when I identified what it was, I was like, this doesn't help me grow, this does. Boom, life became very simple. And it's almost like a frame I can use for everything I do now. So whenever I'm making a decision, the first question is, will this help me grow? And then if no, get out of my face. If yes, stay, right? See, very simple. And I know you guys want your lives to be simpler. And I love simple things. Humans love simple things. So why not make your life simpler? Find out what your purpose is. Identify the problems in your life that you don't like. Ask yourself why. And then from all the answers you give, figure out what the trend is and what the trends are. And then using those trends, you can then reverse engineer it to what your purpose is. So I realized I didn't like things that don't help me grow freely. So what does that mean? My purpose is to grow freely because I don't like anything that is that. It's the opposite, right? Cool. So that is pretty much for me the purpose equation and what I believe you can use in order to discover what your purpose is and why it is so important. And this is more of going into my own personal opinion and recommendations right now that I'm actually going to speak on a little bit. I just want to give you that warning because this is just my opinion. So when it comes to discovering what your purpose is, what I would recommend is that you have a purpose that can last a lifetime. Because I think a mistake people could make, even if you're able to discover what your purpose is your purpose doesn't last very long. And many of you watching this video, especially you're younger, I'm 22 by the way, but since some of you guys are probably younger, are in early 20s and late teens, you probably are fueled by vengeance on some level. This is just an example of something you could be fueled by, but you are fueled by vengeance on some level, and that could be your purpose. That could be the reason you're alive right now, simply to seek out revenge on someone who did you wrong or did whatever, and that's the way you set your goals. You're setting these goals because you want to achieve them in order to get revenge on someone, and it's a purpose. And I'm against no motivation. I think all motivation is good motivation in order to achieve your goals, because anything other than that is just my own ideological preference, meaning my own morality deciding what is good or bad, but everybody has their own morality that they're after, right? But this is just my personal recommendation when it comes to goal achievement. So you want to make sure that your purpose is long term. You see, for my purpose, which is growing freely or growth freely or whatever, for me, it's long term. I'm 22, so let's say I live for the next 60 years, which is average human lifespan or whatever, right? I'm going to be able to grow freely for the rest of my life, pretty much. So that means every day I wake up, I am fulfilled. As long as I'm able to grow freely, I will be fulfilled. I will be content with my life. And even let's say I died today, I'd still be happy because I was growing freely. I was living my purpose and I was setting my goals based on my purpose, right? And I can do that for the rest of my life. But let's say your purpose is vengeance right now. You want to seek revenge on someone, right? The thing is, you will get your revenge. If you're obviously diligent, you're focused, disciplined, you'll eventually get your revenge, whatever that looks like for you. But the thing is, then you won't have a reason to be alive. You'll reach a point where you're like, oh, well, what do I do now? And to me, that's not a nice space to be in because you don't know what you're doing. You're just sitting there kind of like, what the fuck do I do now? Right? Whereas if you had set a purpose that is long term, that can last a lifetime, then you will be fulfilled till you die. Or whenever you die, that is, you'll be fulfilled. You know, I was doing exactly what I should have been doing, right? But the thing is, when you're motivated by something that is kind of fleeting, like revenge, something that you can get within your lifetime, you're like, bruh, or something that you can achieve and then it's over, then it's not really something that I believe is potent or something that I would say that you guys want. Like, I wouldn't assume you guys just want a purpose that only lasts a year. Most people, when they say, I don't know what my purpose is, they're asking for something long term. And I guess for most of you, if you're on my channel and you're trying to figure out what your purpose is or whatever, you want something long term, something that is going to last a lifetime. You don't want something that's only going to last a year. So when you go through this process of identifying the things you don't like in your life and asking yourself why, and then figuring out the whys and the reasons, and then seeing the trends for those reasons or where the similarities or commonalities are, and then you realize, well, damn, I'm motivated by vengeance. I want to get revenge. Make sure you realize that vengeance is something you can achieve within your lifetime. So this current purpose that you have is fleeting. It's not going to last forever. And essentially what would happen is once you fulfill that purpose, whenever it is, but it will be in your lifetime, you're going to have to go through this process again. Well, what do I live for now? Which is fine. You can do whatever you want. There is no rules, guys. I'm tolerant. You do whatever you want. I'm just here to help people achieve their goals. That's it. Then this is my personal recommendation, right? Based off what I just see other people want, right? So, but essentially, let's say you achieve your revenge, you would have to go through this process again. Well, what do I not like? And then why? And then you go through the trend, and then maybe you find your long-term purpose, right? But let's say vengeance is your purpose right now. That's fine. But just make sure you know that it is not a long-term purpose. It is a short-term one, because eventually you will achieve it. So you have to go through this process again. So for some of you who are like, well, then could I just give up my revenge? Yes, you could. You could just give up your vengeance and find out what your true purpose in life is, and then be fulfilled for the rest of your life. Instead of doing the short-term vengeance, achieving that, and then, well, let me figure out what my purpose is now. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you, though. It doesn't matter. It could work either way. I'm just saying this from my own personal opinion and recommendation, because I'd much rather you just have your long-term goal now, because you could just have your long-term goal now than just have this short-term goal and then do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might seem like you're taking a step back by giving up that revenge, you're actually taking a giant leap forward, because you're going to have to go through this process again to find your purpose, right? Cool. So that is pretty much my little spiel today on the idea of purpose and why is it important. So let me know if I explained this well. Please give me feedback and let me know what was good, what wasn't, if this made sense, and if I could explain it better. And make sure to like the video. It boosts it in the algorithm. More guys can see this. And yeah, so with that being said, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.